3 million years from Earth, the mining ship Red Dwarf. The crew are dead, killed by a radiation leak, save for one survivor, his dead bunkmate, and an evolved form of his pet cat.
Whoa! Crease!
But let's not get bogged down on that. We're here to overanalyse tiny little details to work out what the day-to-day life of a Space Corps Astro will be like. See, not every trip into space means you'll be tripping the void into distant star systems, nor is it guaranteed you'll be coming face to face with an alien monstrosity from the far reaches of the galaxy. No, sometimes a day working in space is just another day, flanked by ocean grey walls and waiting for your next paycheck to clear before settling in for another 6 months of flight time. Such is life aboard the JMC Red Dwarf. The dictionary definition of a tramp steamer, the Jupiter Mining Corporation's solar-class mining freighter Red Dwarf, is a behemoth of twisted red metal, measuring 5 miles long, 3 miles wide, and 4 miles deep, easily capable of eating Copenhagen and still be able to have Helsinger for afters. Embedded in the lower side of the ship, a small moon can be seen in the ship's hull, having been torn out of orbit during the ship's long life. So long in fact, that the Red Dwarf was initially built for interstellar travel, before being downgraded to intersystem, leaving behind a small number of stasis booths, now used exclusively for punishment duty.
Is this going ahead?
Haven't you ever travelled interstellar?
No.
You don't feel a thing. The stasis room creates a static field of time. See, just as X-rays can't pass through lead, time cannot penetrate a stasis field. So, although you exist, you no longer exist in time, and for you, time itself does not exist. You see, although you're still a mass, you are no longer an event in space-time. You are a non-event mass with a quantum probability of 0.
How simple is that, eh?
Built over several decades, the ship's external architecture features a mishmash of styles, from mosque-shaped domes to vast skyscrapers and industrial chimneys running along the ship's spine, an indication of the style and fashion of the era it was built in. It was this length of time in development that caused the JMC to cut back on the construction of Red Dwarf, cutting the project short and leaving many of the more advanced features out of the project, replacing the quark-level matter/antimatter reactor with a more standard hydrogen-fueled fusion reactor housed in the Red Dwarf's engine core.
Don't give me the Star Trek crap, it's too early in the morning.
In theory, this reactor is capable of running indefinitely, powered by a constant stream of hydrogen collected by the ram scoop located at the ship's fore. While effective, the process is wasteful, generating the radioactive isotope cadmium-2 as a byproduct, which, if not handled correctly, can cause dangerous levels of radiation to build up within the ship.
Sorry to break off, Arnold, I've got to make an announcement. Radiation leak alert. Radiation leak alert. All crew should run around screaming. My God, it's happening now!
Internally, several decks that run the length of the ship were known only as the diesel decks. These vast regions of machinery don't appear to have any direct connection with the Red Dwarf's propulsion system, but more likely connect to the ship's onboard mining systems, delivering liquid fuel to the fleet of onboard mining vessels and machinery deep in the bowels of the ship. Either way, these decks were large enough to take a full 10 days hike if you're in need of a good break away from the world.
The Cameron Macintosh 40-valve air-cooled diesel, the 184. Almost identical to the 179, but have you noticed the difference? See the refinement in the funnel edgings? I thought we're never going to get another chance to see one of these, so we bivouacked down for the night under the fuel pump. There's a funny story about that, which I'll tell you later. But we're not going to get to any of the Class 5s unless we push along. Next!
Well, sir, could we take a break for a while? It appears my intelligence circuits have melted.
Well, we're not going to get through them all, Crichton, if we take a second break.
Sir, that's a gamble I'm willing to take.
Beyond the diesel decks, there are still well over 3,000 decks on board the ship, of which over 500 are taken up by cavernous cargo decks, stacked to the rafters with food, water, goods and supplies en route to the Red Dwarf's destination, and running the full 5-mile length of the ship. These areas are also where you would find the hangar bays, housing a fleet of support craft including the smaller blue midget and white midget models,
Gearbox, man, I'm telling you.
and the larger ship-to-surface Starbug and White Giant shuttles, used to ferry crew and cargo to their respective destinations. Internal custom areas bar entry from the hangar bays, ensuring no illegal goods, foodstuffs, or unquarantined animals can be introduced to the ship's closed atmosphere.
Do you know what you get for smuggling a cat on board? Don't you know how dangerous it is to smuggle in an unquarantined animal?
You know, a little nibble here and a little nibble there, Lister, and before you know it, we're flying backwards.
Any items deemed inappropriate are promptly destroyed to ensure the safety of the ship and her crew. Crew areas of the ship are linked by a vast network of bullet trains, buggy buses, known as ship rovers, colour-coordinated corridors, and lifts, including the aptly named Express Lifts, dedicated for the longest journeys between floors.
Welcome to Express Lift's descent to floor 16. We will be going down 2,567 floors, and for a small extra charge, you can enjoy the in-lift movie, Gone with the Wind. If you look to your right and to your left, you will notice there are no exits. In the highly unlikely event of the lift having to make a crash landing, death is certain. Under your seat you will find a cassette for recording your last will and testament, and from above your head a bag will drop containing sedatives and cyanide capsules.
I hate this stuff, it really freaks me out.
Due to the sheer size of the Red Dwarf, you can safely bet that you will find most facilities you would expect to find in any city-sized urban sprawl. This includes cinemas, gyms, bars, nightclubs, restaurants, communal bathrooms, medical facilities, shopping malls, and an extended series of laboratories and science facilities. Now, with many of these facilities, the general rule of thumb is the higher the deck, the more elegant and exclusive they are.
Well, if you'll excuse me, I'll go and prepare your quarters. The penthouse suite on A deck should suffice.
This class system also applies to the Red Dwarf's vast array of crew quarters. While facilities near A deck are likely to be bright, spacious, and wiped clean, the dingy depths of the ship are more likely to be painted a uniform ocean grey.
Come on, paint, 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 paint.
But why are they painting the corridor the same colour it was before?
They're changing it from ocean grey to military grey, something that should have been done a long time ago.
Looks exactly the same to me.
No. That's the new military grey bit there, and that's the dowdy old nasty ocean grey bit there. Or is it the other way around?
It doesn't matter, but it's very nice.
With lower ranking members of the crew forced to cohabit in small, dark quarters with rudimentary storage and washing facilities such as a sink and a voice-activated toilet, disturbingly close to the bottom bunk for my liking.
Oh, crap.
Not you!
I do apologise, I wasn't paying attention. See you later.
Officer quarters, on the other hand, were brightly lit with rooms of white and cream, with large areas for socialising and built-in kitchen units and ensuite shower and toilet facilities. Just what you need after a long, hard day climbing the ziggurat.
My captain, sir.
Rimmer, is this salute ever going to end? Do I have time to go for a cup of coffee? Maybe go on vacation?
And then, of course, there are the living sections built on floor 13, which, as we all know, doesn't exist. To serve aboard the Red Dwarf is to be enlisted with the Space Corps, an umbrella military organisation responsible for regulating all interplanetary and interstellar spaceflight to and from Earth. For many, a career in the Space Corps is for life, starting with the Space Scouts as a child, before enlisting as an Astro, then choosing a field and graduating into becoming an officer, before retiring with honours. For others, however, it can be a simple stopgap and wait to see the stars between supermarket trolley jobs. For the more dedicated, however, it is expected that career-long Space Corps Astros will learn at least one of the 23 stanzas of its anthem, and a rudimentary knowledge of Esperanto, the Space Corps' official second language, is highly recommended.
Le manjo estes bonega, ple curain gratulain al la curistu.
I would like to purchase that orange inflatable beach ball and that small bucket and spade.
The meal was splendid. My heartiest congratulations to the chef.
What? Pause.
Remember, you've been doing Esperanto for 8 years? How come you're so utterly useless?
The Jupiter Mining Corporation is just one of the many organisations licensed by the Space Corps to conduct mining operations and deliver freight between Earth and the outer planets of the solar system, with Red Dwarf tasked with running mining equipment and cargo between Mimas and Triton, where the ship will perform mining operations before returning to Earth, a round trip that is expected to take around 4.5 years. During the course of this trip, the onboard crew of 1,169 are tasked with mining operations and the running and maintenance of Red Dwarf and its onboard fleet, as well as create a self-sustaining environment for the crew to live and thrive on board. Enlisted crew work in shift patterns labelled alphabetically, with A shift handling all the most interesting and complex tasks, while Z shift tackles the most basic and mind-numbing jobs. But that's not to say that these responsibilities aren't still equally important. Even the lowliest third technician has key important duties such as keeping the toilet rolls stocked up and maintaining the nozzles on a chicken soup dispenser.
It's my career, Lister. I'm the one who gets it in the neck if an officer comes along, orders chicken soup, and gets blackcurrant cordial with blancmange and 2 creams and a sugar. Chicken soup. Yep, that's working.
It's stupid anyway, all this maintenance business. The only reason they don't give this job to the service robots is they've got a better union than us.
Lister, that is absolute nonsense. Right, what's next? Botanical Gardens, faulty porous circuit in corridor 147, sticking...
While everyone has a role to play, should a member of the crew die during service who is deemed invaluable to the mission, the Space Corps have the ability to simulate this member of the crew as an artificial hologram.
Folks, today is a day for both sadness and joy. Sadness for the passing away of George, and joy because George is back with us, albeit as a hologram. Now, some of you may not have traveled with a hologram before, so I ask you to treat him as a normal man, because he is in every respect like George. He has George's personality and George's knowledge and experience. Of course, he can't lift anything or touch anything, so I ask you to cooperate with his request. And please, take every care not to walk through them, not even when you're in a hurry. Thank you.
These holograms are projected from the hologram simulation suite on board the ship. They're soft light forms generated from simulations based on the crew members' memories, personality, knowledge and skills, which are recorded on disk and stored within the ship's databanks.
Load arrogance. Load charisma. Load neuroses. Download memory.
Oh, that rimmer.
With no physical presence except a small floating light bee, holograms were unable to interact with anything except other forms of light, as holograms have been known to be able to touch one another if two were to ever meet.
I wouldn't worry about that, my pretty.
Hey, holograms can touch each other.
These hologrammatic beings are not spared the bureaucracy of life, having to return their birth certificates to have them invalidated, and likely lose any video rental membership cards too. What's worse, outside of the working life of the Space Corps, hologrammatic simulations of deceased individuals were collectively known as deadies.
But Rimmer, death isn't the handicap it used to be in the olden days. It doesn't screw your career up like it used to.
That's what they say, Lister, but if you had 2 people coming for a job and one of them was dead, which one would you pick?
It depends which is better qualified.
Bull pats. When was the last time you saw a dead newsreader?
Channel 27 had a hologram reading the news.
Oh, groovy, funky Channel 27. Big smegging deal. You livies hate us, deadies.
Outside of the Space Corps, holograms could only be created by the mega rich, as the computing power needed to simulate a human being is unfathomably huge. Even on board a JMC vessel, it was only possible to generate one hologram at a time, with only the most important members of the crew being brought back to light at any time.
My advice to anyone more vital to the mission than me is, if you die, I'll kill you.
But regardless of where you may fall on the deady or livy front, all crew must follow strict regulations, known commonly as the Space Corps directives.
Holly, kindly furnish Mr. Rimmer with a hologrammatic copy of the Space Corps Directive Manual.
Come on, where is it? That's it?
You should be able to study it at your leisure on your trip back to Red Dwarf, sir.
These articles are designed to ensure that all crew obey the same set of rules across the entire fleet.
May I remind you of Space Corps Directive 34124?
34124. No officer with false teeth should attempt oral sex in zero gravity.
Damn you both, all the way to Hades. I want to go to Blow Alert.
Okay.
As well as follow common safety guidelines to ensure the survival of Space Corps personnel.
Sir, can't you see your behavior is totally irrational?
In which case we can remove him from duty as per Space Corps Directive 196156.
196156. Any officer caught sniffing the saddle of the exercise bicycle in the women's gym will be discharged without trial? Sorry, sir, that doesn't quite get to the nub of the matter for me.
Of course, there are some rules that seem wildly specific, targeted even, at individuals who may have transgressed certain moral guidelines in the past, but the Space Corps assures its personnel that this isn't the case.
Sir, might I remind you, Space Corps Directive 169 quite clearly states...
Holly, prepare an escape pod, anything to save me from another Space Corps directive.
Sir, the Space Corps directives are there to protect us. They're not a set of vindictive pronouncements directed against any one person.
Designed with the face of history's most prolific lover, the 10th generation holographic computer known as Holly was an artificial intelligence with a reported IQ of 6,000.
The same IQ as 6,000 PE teachers.
And was charged with supporting the ship's crew in serving as an autopilot, making complicated calculations in the fraction of a second, delivering updates and messages throughout the ship, and answering dozens of questions from the crew simultaneously. Holly is also responsible for managing and controlling the Red Dwarf service droids to support the crew in its responsibilities.
Because basically, I'm fantastic.
Presenting itself as a disembodied head floating in a black void, Holly is able to be streamed from the central databanks across multiple screens and locations within its designated supervision field. This supervision field is limited to the crew sections of the vessel and operated in much the same way as internal CCTV, accessible to authorised personnel via the ship's black box recorder. Outside of this supervision field, Holly is unable to monitor or control any systems, though it is possible to upload Holly's personality to a mobile computer system or a special wristwatch known as a Holly Watch, provided you don't have any holes in your trouser pockets.
It's an unbelievable view. Reminds me of that film, Attack of the Killer Gooseberries.
Holly, like many onboard holographic computer systems found on other Space Corps ships, is the lifeline to any hologrammatic crew on board. Capable of generating any item that would benefit the hologram in their everyday life, from work items to items of clothing and even foodstuffs to really help them blend in with their living co-workers.
I want a triple fried egg sandwich with
chili sauce and chutney.
You what?
It's a state of the art, Sarnie.
It's the state of the floor I'm worried about. All right, okay.
This is an important feature in allowing holograms to feel like they're part of the crew, though, admittedly, it can be a bit tiresome for the computer in question.
Holly? What is going on?
Look, I'm a 10th generation AI hologrammic computer. I'm not your mum.
Yes, fantastic.
What do you want this time? A hand with your homework? Or would you like me to sew little name tags in your PE kit?
Unfortunately, holographic computers can develop what's known as computer senility. Beyond the obvious drop in IQ, this affliction can lead to the computer making increasingly bizarre and irrational decisions, as well as a tendency to speak its mind rather than consider the options and social graces.
Well, she won't be much use to you on Fiji now. Not unless it snows and he needs something to grit the path with.
Holly?
Sorry. I'm sorry about that. I've been on my own for 3 million years. And I'm just used to saying what I think. I think I've gone a bit peculiar, to tell you the truth.
Naturally, this can lead to circumstances where the computer may pose a serious risk to the lives and welfare of the crew on board.
Shouldn't this plug into something?
Oh yeah, that joins up with the white cable.
A white cable?
Yep. Or is it the yellow cable? Yes, it should have been the yellow.
Thankfully, the Space Corps falls ahead on this, hence Astral 5.
I am Queek 500, the Red Dwarf backup computer. All vessels of the Jupiter Mining Corporation fleet are obliged to carry a backup computer to replace the primary computer, if the primary computer contravenes Article 5. I am therefore assuming control of this vessel.
Though it can be said that backup computers lack some of the more streamlined approaches to dealing with the ship's crew. It's highly likely then that a backup computer works much like a spare tyre, in that it will only operate until the ship is able to reach its nearest port and the main computer be replaced or repaired with a fully functioning computer system. In the event of a total computer failure, Red Dwarf can link up to the JMC mainframe, a remote computer system that can handle many of the more basic computer functions such as sending and receiving data, as well as basic autopilot features. In the event of an emergency, the JMC mainframe can also alert the crew to danger, though you can be safe in the knowledge that things could still be much worse.
You think it's serious? Listen, unless the chick with the really calm voice starts talking, it ain't serious.
Please remain calm. There is no need for alarm.
It's serious. Stop panicking!
Can all crew please return to their quarters so we can begin a body count of the survivors?
Beyond Holly, Red Dwarf is brimming with sentient machines that operate with only minimal supervision and control. First and foremost are the onboard service droids known as scutters. These knee-high droids number in the thousands, with their duties ranging from cleaning, basic ship maintenance, delivery messages, and, where required, performing supervised mining duties. Supervised is the key word, as scutters were only programmed with basic intelligence, and thus would not be ideal for anything more complicated than basic repetitive functions.
They only do what you tell them to.
Ah, but they don't, do they? You say, keep an eye on that lamb, and they do. They sit there for 3 hours and watch it burn.
As with Holly, however, prolonged lifespans can lead to interesting personality quirks.
See what I mean?
Stacker droids also number amongst the Red Dwarf's robotic fleet, though more commonly seen in the lower decks of the ship. These barely sentient droids served as unmanned heavy-duty forklift trucks that would move cargo and ore where needed, often extending their responsibilities to the disposal of rubbish, earning them the less than affectionate name of garbage droids for many of the onboard crew. These droids would redirect garbage to the relevant section, where items that can be reprocessed within the ship will be taken out, while the rest will be sorted into waste disposal pods and flung into the void. Recycling, who needs it?
Give me an E. Give me a D. Give me a Red Dwarf garbage pod.
And then we get to the vending machines. As part of the reward structure for working on a JMC space vessel, all crew are rewarded not only with their fairly reasonable paycheck, but also designated company credits which can be used for food and drink via one of the many vending machines located throughout the ship. The reasoning for this is fairly clear, though pretty savage.
Hey! I can't get any food!
Try a different machine.
I tried them all!
I'm sorry, you have run out of credits.
They've all gone crazy!
Quick, what's happened to the machines?
I refer you to Article 497. When a crew member has run out of credit, food and drink may not be supplied until the balance has been restored.
If you don't work, you don't eat. But assuming you are a hard-working member of the crew, you are welcome to an absolute plethora of culinary delights. Thanks to the internal workings of the ship, most vending machines are capable of delivering virtually anything you require at the drop of a hat.
Hello, how can I help you?
Fish!
Today's fish is trout à la crème. Enjoy your meal.
Fish!
Today's fish is trout à la crème. Enjoy your meal.
Fish!
Today's fish is trout à la crème. Enjoy your meal.
Fish!
Today's fish is trout à la crème.
This is thanks to storage compartments held within the internal walls, restocked and resupplied from the Red Dwarf's vast cargo decks and water tanks deep within the bowels of the ship. Interestingly, virtually all vending machines on board the Red Dwarf are sentient and possess a separate intelligence to Holly and the other systems on board the ship, so can require some amount of maintenance to keep working correctly.
You've got a lisp?
Yes, I know. The lisp malfunction has been reported to the scutters. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Can you give me a bacon sandwich with French mustard and black coffee? Your vocabulary unit's not working either.
Yes, I know. This also has been reported to the scutters. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Can you just try and give me a black coffee?
I'll certainly try.
That's a bucket.
Sorry.
Some are jolly and helpful, while others can be a little more vindictive.
You are my nemesis. One day our paths will cross again, and I will destroy you.
More traditionally, there are a range of vending machines that provide restockable supplies and tend to focus on specialist cuisine, such as the Taste of Asia range of vending machines, nicknamed by the crew as Taiwan Tony, or the velvety French accented coffee machine, Dispenser 23.
Oh, it's good coffee, this. Great coffee. Some amazing coffee. I've always said to the others, you know, if you want a good cup of coffee, go to the Spencer 23. She makes the best coffee.
Are you eating on me? I'm a vending machine. Why are you trying to eat on me?
I'm not trying to hit on you.
You so are.
No, I'm not.
Furthermore, there are no custom limitations on technology, so while the Red Dwarf caters to its crew in many ways, there is nothing stopping you from bringing on extra help. Be it a coffee machine in your quarters, or maybe even Crapola Incorporated's patent-applied Talkie Toaster, because who on Jupiter would want to waste their morning breakfast time without a lovable companion?
Howdy doodly do, how's it going? I'm Talkie Toaster, your chirpy breakfast companion. Talkie's the name, toasting's the game. Anyone like any toast?
Look, I don't want any toast. And he doesn't want any toast. In fact, no one around here wants any toast. Not now, not ever. No toast.
How about a muffin?
Or muffins. We don't like muffins round here. We want no muffins, no toast, no tea cakes, no buns, baps, baguettes or bagels, no croissants, no crumpets, no pancakes, no potato cakes, and no hot cross buns. And definitely no Smeggin' flapjacks.
Ah, so you're a waffle man.
For more formal occasions, food and drink falls into the responsibilities of the catering department, who are on hand to supply the officers with elegant meals, bake cakes for crew, birth and death days, as well as provide lunches and dinners for the hard-working crew across many of the staffed mess hall areas. While supplies are plentiful, they aren't infinite and can lead to some supplies running dry quicker than others.
Hope they got some spare odds and sods on board. We're a bit short on a few supplies.
Like what?
Cow's milk. Ran out of that yonks ago. Fresh and dehydrated.
What kind of milk are we using now?
Emergency backup supply. We're on the dog's milk.
You will be pleased to know, however, that essential goods such as leopard lager is in bountiful supply. Astros don't have a reputation for hard drinking for nothing, you know. Speaking of...
Cheers.
Despite being an industrial mining vessel, the Red Dwarf crew are inundated with options for recreation when they're off duty. Though on a mission that could last 5 years, it would be cruel not to. From fancy dress competitions to retro 1990s themed nights at one of the many dance halls or bars located throughout the city-sized ship, there is always something to while away your evenings after a long day scrubbing the intake valves on the diesel decks. Many of the bars were specifically themed to match crew-specific interests, such as the Coco Cabana Hawaiian Cocktail Bar, which served drinks in plastic coconuts to really sell the atmosphere. Naturally, the abundance of social events on board the Red Dwarf means crew fraternisation is not only accepted, but basically inevitable.
Felicitations, beautiful ladies. Back from planet leave? Let me take those heavy cases. My name is Olaf Peterson. I am very good in bed.
It is, after all, a long mission. For a more romantic experience, wine bars and restaurants such as Parrot's Bar were available for the crew, while the exclusive Officers Club took luxury to the next level, where guests were expected to attend in dinner jackets as they tuck into their gazpacho soup and cocktails, safe in the knowledge no mechanoids or lower class crewmen will ruin their evening. Beyond food and drink, crew may catch up on classic cinema at the onboard Scalar Multiplex.
What's on? Orson Welles, Citizen Kane.
Or for the more active amongst the crew, there is a fully equipped gym and sauna.
This is what I call training.
But if you don't want to leave your bunk, there are always pre-recorded television shows available to view on the wall monitor. Or, if you're really lucky, maybe you could try a total immersion video game.
What are total immersion video games?
Where? Oh, these are brilliant. You can't get hold of these for love nor money. These are like Venus's arms. These are like Brooke Shields' buttocks.
What are they?
Well, they're computer games, aren't they? But electrodes are inserted into your frontal lobes and hypothalamus, right? So you actually feel as though you're really, really there. Yes!
For the lucky few with a TIV console to hand, the user can transport themselves into whatever world they choose, with every physical sense telling you you're really there. No joysticks, no controllers, no heavy monitors strapped to your face, just direct signals into your brain.
It's incredible, it's just like being here.
One such total immersion game was called Better Than Life, a wish fulfillment program where the user could summon anything their heart desired, and it would appear. This game would eventually be pulled from shelves after the publisher realised the game was addictive. Duh! Addicted users became known as gameheads, and the terrible irony is that the more you wanted to play, the more the game would conceal itself on your memory, making it impossible to leave until you wanted to leave, which would never happen.
What, we're still in the game?
We certainly are. Now what about my 18 grand?
Forcibly removing the helmet would result in instant death from shock, so the only solution would be to care for the gameheads and ensure they're kept fed and watered. Still, there are plenty of other games out there, so maybe stick to Camelot if you don't fancy completely losing your mind.
Buy a potion from Gandalf, the Master Wizard. That's what I usually do.
In summary then, it's clear that life aboard the Red Dwarf could be much worse for its onboard Astros. While the work was long and drawn out, the Space Corps personnel would be well looked after, with plenty of entertainment and, so long as they keep working, a generous amount of food and drink to keep the crew well fed. Not only that, but under the supervision of Holly, no Astro would ever lack for company or for someone to ask a question to.
I'm not a combination of the speaking clock, Moss Bros and Teasy Weezy.
Mining isn't a glamorous gig, but it is a necessary function in a society built on the exploitation of natural resources across the solar system and beyond. An Astro on board can expect a decent paycheck and a bunk at the end of a long shift.
Oh, I didn't know you had any medals. What are they?
3 years long service, 6 years long service, 9 years long service, 12 years long service.
Just so long as a terrible accident doesn't, I don't know, wipe out the whole crew at the drop of a hat.
Emergency. There's an emergency going on. And it's still going on. Gladwell Rimmer, please hurry to White Corridor 159. It's an emergency announcement.
Thank you for watching all the way to the end. This was part 1 of a short series about this particular ship, so perhaps next time we'll see what life looks like when there's less work to be done. Until then, hit subscribe and smeg off.